Welcome into the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com alongside the Trentonians George O'Gorman, Mike Samso with you. We thank you so much for joining us every week. As always, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton. George, this past weekend we had two of the premier teams in Mercer County, well, kind of, anyway, in the West Jersey Football League, that is, in Rancocas Valley and Allentown take on one another, and the Redbirds struggled a little bit, and wonder if maybe they were looking a bit forward to the battle with Hopewell Valley this coming weekend. I
don't see why they would be looking ahead. I mean, they knew that, Rancocas Valley had an undefeated record, and,
right.
And I'm still not convinced that Rancocas Valley is the better of those two teams that beat Allentown between RV and Lenape. But Jay Graber's club gave up 14 points quickly on turnovers, and RV built the lead and was able just to continue to roll. And, that's really, you could speculate and say, yeah, they were looking ahead to Hopewell, but I don't see why. Yeah.
The other very interesting game that happened in Mercer County this week, again, another game that took place down in South Jersey, Notre Dame and Lenape. Lenape ended up winning that game 31-7, but it was very bizarre. I was out of that game. We had that game live on 107.7 The Bronx, and George, I'm telling you, Notre Dame felt like the better team. They just kept making the worst mistakes at the worst possible time.
They've been doing that a lot this year, haven't they?
Yeah.
We've had their games on. And
they had two fumbles inside the Lenape 5-yard line.
I mean, that's, you can't, against those undefeated teams that are ranked, among the elite in the state, and you want to go down there and put on a good show, you can't turn the ball over like Notre Dame, unfortunately, has done this year. They turned the ball over a few times when they played RV.
Right.
They turned the ball over a couple times in their opening game when they played Allentown. It's the longest losing streak that Choppy Moore has ever had, including going back to his days in the late 60s in the Philadelphia Catholic League, when it was always, the big game was always Choppy Moore's, I guess it was Cardinal O'Hara teams, because he coached at a couple teams, going against Bishop Egan, coached by Dick Bedison, playing for the PCL championship. But, Choppy last year was probably only the second losing season he's ever had at Notre Dame. This would be the third losing season. Now, there's a chance the Irish can finish, with a couple of more wins. I think they've got Steinert this week, don't they?
Correct.
And then they got their season finale coming up against Nottingham the day after Thanksgiving. But, all speculation is that with the mid-season medical problems that Choppy Moore had, that this would probably be his last year in his legendary Hall of Fame coaching career. But, the Irish aren't that bad. The Irish have got
really
some decent kids. Alex Roman, I didn't see the stats. I don't know how many yards he had, but, he's not a bad running back. The people that had seen him the week before said, where's this kid been all year? I said, he's been playing linebacker.
Yeah.
But Xavier Lazinski is coming on to be a nice quarterback. Isn't that amazing? They've had, 6 quarterbacks in 2 years?
They've had 3 quarterbacks this season.
So, it's tough on the Irish, but they're home Friday night in a game that we'll be broadcasting against Steiner.
Yeah, that's one of 3 games this weekend on the WBCB Sports Network. 4 games in Mercer County, actually, this weekend on the WBCB Sports Network. Friday night on 107.7 The Bronx, we'll have Steiner taking on Notre Dame. 2 games Saturday afternoon. We'll have Nottingham and Hamilton on 107.7. On 1490, we'll have Eastern taking on Trenton. And then the nightcap on 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com, 7 p.m. It will be the Allentown Redbirds taking on Hopewell Valley. Those are the 4 Mercer County games we have for you this weekend on the WBCB Sports Network. When George and I come back, we'll take a look at this past week and preview the upcoming week as well. You're watching the Mercer County Football Show presented by the St. Francis Medical Center on WBCB1490.com.
Discover the dealer for the people, Haldeman Ford Subaru, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. One of the region's finest state-of-the-art service facilities for all makes and models. A service facility so good, local school districts get their buses serviced at Haldeman. Police fleets, local municipalities get their cars and trucks serviced at Haldeman. From oil changes to tire sales, Haldeman Ford services all makes and models. And they offer tires for just $10 over cost on name brand tires like Goodyear and Pirelli. And their waiting room offers complimentary food. And there's a special Wi-Fi room available for your use. So no matter where you purchase your car, get it serviced at Haldeman Ford, the dealership for the people on Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian, or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton. I'm Mike Samsel, that's George O'Gorman. We thank you so much for joining us every week, as always, here on the Mercer County Football Show. Taking a look at some of the results this past week, Pemberton defeated Robbinsville 26-3. We mentioned Rancocas Valley over Allentown 34-14 was the final in that one. Trenton 7, Nottingham 6. Tight defensive battle Saturday afternoon on the WBCB Sports Network.
Well, that's not surprising because those teams have usually played close games, although not relatively with a low-scoring 7-6 ball game. But
Right.
Trenton and Nottingham, two teams that really pride themselves on defense, and that was an exciting game. I didn't get a chance to listen. I heard some of it because it started at 1 o'clock.
Right.
With Dan Wing doing an excellent job over there at Bill Harvin Field. But it was an exciting game, and the Tornadoes now step out of Mercer County to take on Eastern Regional. Eastern is another one of those teams that maybe a lot of Mercer County fans don't know much about, but they're down there, Eastern Regional, I think, down around Mount Laurel area, Voorhees. So, we'll see how the Tornadoes do as they got I think they've pretty much got a state playoff berth locked up. Probably could get a home game.
Right, yeah, very
second
possible.
year in a row.
Lenape 31, Notre Dame 7. That game wasn't so close. Another game that wasn't so close. Boy, Princeton wasn't all that happy about losing. They come out and defeat West Windsor Plainsboro South 50-0 in that game.
Well, that's just, Princeton being a good ball club. Princeton has taken its lumps over the years when Todd Smith was there at West Windsor South. And Princeton, with an opportunity to really, state its case as being one of the better teams. And David Beamer and, is it Rory Hellstrom? I always get the names mixed up. And they got a nice ball club, and they go into Hightstown this week, don't they?
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity there for the...
Actually, my apologies. They're in Robbinsville this week.
Oh, they're at Robbinsville. Okay, so there's a chance for the Princeton Little Tigers to go to 7-1?
Yeah.
That would be an excellent effort after going 0-10 last year.
Certainly would. Hopewell Valley 28, Ewing 20. Blue Devils made a nice showing for themselves Friday night, competing with a good Hopewell Valley team. That's got to give Ewing some good feelings heading toward the playoffs.
But first, Ewing's got a tough game coming up with Northern Burlington.
Right, yeah.
At Northern Burlington, Friday night.
Well, West Windsor Plainsboro North this week, Northern Burlington.
Northern Burlington.
Next week.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting game because both teams can put up points.
Mm-hmm.
That was, even in the loss that Ewing had against Hopewell Valley, that was a solid performance for Drew Bessler's ball club.
Right.
They just couldn't stop Lorenzo Bryan. I mean, he ran for over 250 yards.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity there. This could be a very good game. Kevin Murphy's throwing the ball all over the place. That's one of the more evenly balanced games, I think, coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it should be a very good game. And coming up also, Northern Burlington defeated Lawrence 21-7. Lawrence will be at Hightstown this coming Friday night. A good win for Hamilton, 34-26. They defeat Kevin Murphy and West Windsor Plainsboro North. Nice win for Tom Hoagland. Nice win for the Hornets. Get that team back on track. Now they have Nottingham coming up this weekend, and all of a sudden you can see the Hornets kind of sneaking their way back toward 500.
If you haven't been following the division standings in the WJFL, as Tom Hogan pointed out, they still have a chance to win that division.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've got some teams coming up that they possibly could get by. I think Nottingham would have to be one of them, I believe, this weekend. And, Tom Hogan's ball club really put it together offensively, defensively. They had a couple, I think they must have had 6 sacks. How about Malik Sneed? Malik Sneed is an amazing athlete. Maybe because Hamilton wasn't winning, he wasn't getting a lot of notoriety on the football field. He's had an interception, at least one interception, in every game that Hamilton has played this season.
Wow.
And he was honored this week as the Special Teams Player of the Week for the 12th Man TD Club. And, you know, like I said, he had 6 interceptions. He had a big interception in that game. He had, I think he might have had a sack or 2. He had a couple of big stops behind the line. You know, he'll probably score his 1,000-point basketball this winter.
Yeah.
What an athlete Malik Snead is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that you know, as Tom Hogan pointed out, that was kind of a trap game, in a way, when you think about it, for the Hamilton Hornets. They were coming off a tough game against Trenton. Mm-hmm. They had Nottingham coming up the week after, and here was West Windsor North coming in with maybe the best passing attack in the area. And you know, Tom was wondering how his ball club was going to be able to bounce back from the Trenton loss, not thinking about Nottingham, but he knew it was in the back of their mind,
right,
and handling West Windsor North. But the Hornets did it, and they did it in rather impressive fashion.
The other game that happened this past weekend on the WBCB Sports Network, Steiner defeated Hightstown by a final of 28-14. Huge week coming up in Mercer County this coming week. We'll tell you about it. Coming up next, you're watching the Mercer County Football Show on WBCB1490.com.
Hi, Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29 in nearby Ewing Township.
Jerry Blavitt here to tell you about St. Francis Medical Center, the heart hospital in the city of Trenton. St. Francis Medical Center is one of the region's top cardiac care centers, serving all of Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. Their staff of highly trained physicians provide state-of-the-art heart care to patients with cardiovascular disease and pride themselves as being the only regional heart center to offer a full spectrum of individualized services. And Consumer Report ranks St. Francis Medical Center in the top 10 hospitals in New Jersey for safety, and the #1 hospital in Mercer County, St. Francis Medical Center, the Heart Hospital.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com and online Take 2. Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com alongside the Trentonians George O'Gorman, Mike Samsa with you. George, we mentioned it. It is the Mercer County Football Show, but you don't have to be playing in Mercer County to necessarily be having success. Austin Fellows, while no longer playing in Mercer County, is certainly having some success this year.
He's having great success. Returning to College of New Jersey's Lions Stadium, where his last high school football game led Hopewell Valley to the Central Jersey Group 3 championship last December. Comes back as the freshman starting quarterback for William Patterson University and beats the College of New Jersey rather convincingly. Austin Fellows has really been having an outstanding year. I knew the kid had some potential going into college because he's got that good size. He's not real physically, a hefty quarterback, but
right.
He's tall and he can pick out his receivers. And I think Scott Bruner had helped him a lot in developing his passing, ability. But he comes in for William Patterson University and leads them to a big win at College of New Jersey. Of course, the Trentonian had a preview featuring Austin and made him the focus of the game. At least some newspaper in Trenton knew who the kid was, that he was a Mercer County graduate. And how about the couple of kids up at UConn?
Yeah, Jasmine Clax and Richard Levy both starting.
That's Trenton has really had a lot of good kids that have gone on to college, and and it's good to see that. And of course, we got the what's the kids up at Lafayette setting all the records in the running back before Schonauer. There was the other running back that had broken.
Oh, from West Windsor, Plainsboro South. That was a bit before my time. I don't remember his name.
No. It was just you were broadcasting the game from Allentown. How can I forget his name? Begins with an S too. But at any rate, he's setting. I'm embarrassed by that I can't remember his name. But after 30-some years, trying to remember everybody's name. But he's doing an outstanding job for Lafayette as a running back and as a special teams player.
Yeah.
Talking about the possibility he might even get some NFL looks.
No, that would be tremendous.
But this week there should be some more. We're into Halloween weekend, and
Yeah.
I can't believe that the word I have is that the Allentown Hopewell Valley game, which all season long after the first couple of weeks you saw where these teams were going, was moved from Friday night to Saturday because Friday night is Halloween. Well, I have never, ever seen high school football games moved because of Halloween. But I guess when you're dealing with the schools that in the big suburban communities like Hopewell Township and Allentown, there's a lot of kids out there who want to go out and celebrate Halloween, and I guess the parents have to be with them anymore these days. So they moved the game from Friday night to Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part about it is it goes head-to-head with the 2 soccer championships in Mercer County.
Right.
And so that's obviously going to cut into the crowd there. I don't know where they're even going to play those soccer championships because Ewing has a home football game, don't they, on Saturday, or is that Friday?
They're home on Saturday. Or no, they're West Windsor Plainsboro North is the home team on Saturday.
Oh, okay. So that's not a problem.
So that field will be open.
But some interesting developments going on in this WJFL, which, in my opinion, has become probably should be the worst Jersey football league because again, I don't enjoy these games with Mercer County teams traveling all over the state. New Egypt, another team in the WJFL, right over the border, used to go to Allentown. Went down to play Wildwood. Was that a Friday night?
Yeah.
It's got to be 80 miles to Wildwood
long
on a
ride.
Friday night. Wonder what time those New Egypt kids got home.
Yeah.
But at any rate, and then I mean, Robbinsville opening up early in the year, going down to Clayton. They probably could have had to pay a toll at Delaware Memorial Bridge to get to Clayton. And Princeton playing at Winslow Township.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see what kind of, other than the fact that they try to keep the league supposedly balanced.
Right.
Winslow Township had a bad record last year, so did Princeton. Princeton turned it around, had to go to Winslow, and Winslow handled them. But, hey, Charlie Gallagher and the Princeton Little Tigers got a shot to go 7-1, and if they haven't already, lock up a playoff berth.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be one of the great games this weekend. Princeton will actually be in action. First game on Friday night, they'll be taking on winless Robbinsville, so that should be a bit of a tough game for the Ravens. We'll keep an eye on that game. Rancocas Valley and Cherokee should be a great game in the West Jersey Football League. Game of the week on the WBCB Sports Network, 6:45 on Saturday night. We'll begin the Trentonian pregame show as it will be Allentown taking on Hopewell Valley. Trenton takes on Eastern. That game will be on 1490 AM. But George, Trenton and Eastern, and Allentown, Hopewell Valley, Rancocas Valley, and Cherokee, 3 doozies.
That could be an indication of what will happen when Rancocas Valley, I think the following week, takes on Lenape.
Yes, correct.
Because everybody thought that that Cherokee was going to hand Lenape its first loss of the season a couple of weeks ago. In turn, Lenape turns around and blows them out.
Yeah.
So, you don't like to compare scores because different things happen. But if Cherokee can do a job defensively on RV with, Sadusky, the quarterback that's there, and the other running back, Brett, I forget his name now, too. Well, the running back that scored, and Stevie Stevenson?
Stevie Stevenson.
Stevie Stevenson, an excellent receiver for RV.
Yeah, he certainly is. Nottingham takes on Hamilton. That game will be Saturday on the WBCB Sports Network on 107.7 FM.
That could be a very good game.
Yeah. Could be a playoff berth on the line in that game, too. If either team has hopes of making the playoffs, one of them will have to win.
And as I said earlier, Tom Hogan saying that the Hornets still have to play, I think they still have to play Princeton. No. They still have a shot to win that division.
Yeah. So that should be a great game coming up as well. Notre Dame Steinert, Friday night. That'll be on 107.7 FM and 107.7thebronx.com. George and I will be out there starting with the Trentonian pregame show at 6:45. Other games, Ewing at West Windsor, Plainsboro North. That should be an interesting game. Probably a lot of points coming Saturday afternoon over at West Windsor, Plainsboro North.
You know, every time you think there's going to be a high-scoring offensive shootout, it ends up to be a very good defensive game. Like we would have probably thought that the Nottingham-Trenton game, although those teams have been close over the years, but it's always been an offensive, showcase. But this week it was last week was a defensive duel, and Tariq Holman and the Tornadoes, they just keep piling along now, and everybody says they knew once Trenton got a good coaching staff in there, and a solid football man like Tariq Holman,
right,
that program was going to continue to grow, and it certainly has. And the amazing part about it is Trenton's young.
Right. Yeah, they're only going to get better.
They've got a young team and some really young kids moving up, and there's a lot of emphasis now. And Tariq had told me earlier in the year, he said, we'd like our football program to be on the same level of success that the Trenton, basketball teams have had, the boys and the girls, and and he said the track teams have had. Well, now the Tornadoes football team is certainly moving towards that goal that Tariq Holman had set.
Two other games we have this weekend in Mercer County. West Windsor, Plainsboro South will be taking on Northern Burlington. That game will be on Saturday. And also on Saturday as well, actually Friday night, Lawrence will be at Heightstown. That game will be Friday night. And that will feature the Lawrence Cardinals trying to get back on track with Nate Jones falling to 2-4 on the season. Yeah.
Because Heightstown can put up some points.
Yeah.
And Lawrence, really, other than Princeton, Lawrence has probably been the big surprise of this season in Mercer County. A lot of people going into the season thought that Princeton, they're coming off their 0-10 season, really didn't have a lot of weapons, but they certainly turned that around right off the bat.
Right.
And with all the graduation losses that Lawrence had, and a new coach in Nate Jones, that the Cardinals were going to struggle, but they've certainly been doing an outstanding job. Kadeem Neal,
right,
one of the better all-around athletes in Mercer County, doing a big job, and Eddie Colwell, I think his name is, the running back that's been doing an outstanding job for the Lawrence Cardinals. That's quite a matchup.
Yeah, it certainly is. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Mercer County Football Show, and unfortunately, that will do it for me as the host of the Mercer County Football Show. I'll be handing the reins off to Sean Lerman. So Sean will be with George next week. I'll still be around. I'll still be doing some games in Mercer County, but I've accepted a new position, and so that will be it. And George, for everything that you and I have done together, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much, Mike, and it's certainly been nice, and I hope that we've entertained the Mercer County football community over the last couple of years, and I've really enjoyed not only being along, side by side with you at football games, but here on the Mercer County Football Show, which I think is kind of unique in the state of New Jersey. And best of luck to you in the future, and I know we'll still be side by side at some of the football games. But thanks for everything, and continued success.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The Mercer County Football Show isn't going anywhere, and he's the real star of it anyway, so let's be honest. You watch it for him. Sean Lerman and George O'Gorman will be with you next week. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for watching us, and until next time, have a great day, everyone.